Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Battle video. In this video we are going to take a look at the Tech Super Saiyan God Goku and Super Saiyan God Vegeta unit. Now I was not fortunate enough to get these guys on the summon banner. If you've watched my summons you will have probably realized that I did not get them, but overall they are an incredibly good unit and we're going to take a look and see just how good they are at 55% in the hidden potential system. Now full disclaimer, obviously because I do not have these guys I will be unable to run them at a full 200% lead, so you will see slightly slower or lower results than what you would see compared to someone running them under a double 200% lead. But then again, it doesn't make that big a difference. The extra 30% amounts to roughly 7 or 8% worth of stats, depending obviously on how many dupes you have. So overall, it's really not that big a deal. Obviously, the higher the amount of stats you have, the bigger the difference you'll see, but that's not really that much of an importance. In terms of these guys, they are a Power Beyond Super Saiyan or Movie Heroes category lead of 170%. And they give an additional 30% HP attack and defense for characters who also belong to the Kamehameha category. They raise their attack and defense on both their 12 and 18 key, and they activate an animation entry, a special animation upon entry once only. They guard all attacks for 1 turn from the start of turn, and they have an additional key +1 per type key sphere obtained and an additional 77% attack and defense for 7 turns from the start of turn. Other than that, they have attack and defense of 120% with an additional key +1 per type key sphere obtained. They also have a 7% crit chance per rainbow key orb obtained, and they launch an additional super attack when key is 20 or more. They also have attacks effective against all types when key is 24 or more, and they transform, which can be activated from the 4th turn of battle. They have Super Saiyan, Kamehameha, Warrior Gods, Godly Power, Prepared for Battle, Fierce Battle, and Legendary Power as their links. And when they transform, they will have attack and defense of 177% with an additional key +2 per type key sphere obtained unconditionally. They will have a 7% additional evasion and crit chance per rainbow key sphere obtained, and they will have attacks effective against all types when key is only 16 or more. They will launch an additional attack when key is 20 or more, and they'll have a medium chance of crit and medium chance of evasion standard. They also have a special active skill which can be utilized once they have transformed, and this can be activated when you are facing an enemy whose health is 50% or less, or when your HP is 50% or less. Only when facing one enemy though. Overall, they are pretty good. They then greatly raise attack and defense on their 12 key and massively raise attack and defense on their 18 key, which is pretty crazy. It basically doubles your defense, which is really good. So yeah, that is basically it. We're gonna get a look at the animation now, and then we'll go on from there.
It's pretty obvious you're not going to defeat him by yourself.
So the animation looks really good. Obviously the source material is fantastic. As you guys can see, by the way, how much key I should say we are getting per orb. If I select 1 orb, we are getting in total 3 key, and if it is a type sensitive orb, we are gaining 4 key, which is pretty nuts. This will only last for 7 turns for their base form, as after 7 turns they will no longer be gaining an additional 1 key. But we're starting with a pretty decent amount of defense, over 150,000, and they have guard effective against all types for their first turn. Obviously we have quite a fair amount of support on this rotation, but for the most part it is pretty damn good, looking really solid attack stat wise as well. Now remember, as long as we get 24 key, they will have attacks effective against all types in their base form. This is actually not as difficult as it sounds, but it's also not as easy as it may seem. They only have one key link, with that being prepared for battle. The rest of their links are not key links. So obviously if you really want to get them 24 keys super regularly, you are going to look at obviously giving them prepared for battle. But because they gain 3 to 4 key depending on what type orb they gain, it's very easy to very quickly get them up to speed. Grabbing 6 orbs for example, or 5 orbs for example, will pretty much guarantee them a 24 key with relative ease, and grabbing the same type orbs means you only have to grab 3 or 4 to very easily get them 24 key. That's not factoring in support, not factoring in anything else. So that's a really good starting point for these guys as a unit. Now obviously we are on turn 3 here. We've got them paired up with well, we've got them linked in the middle here. Now we don't necessarily have again the best links on display here, but you can see we're going to have a pretty solid amount of links active once we grab these orbs. So you can see 210,000 defense, by the way. That's obviously courtesy due to them firing off super attacks. Remember, they stack on their 18 and 12 key. We grab these orbs and we are pretty much at almost 24 key. We're at 23 key, which is very unlucky. But this is a very good situation for them. Obviously, we have quite a few links active in this situation, which is obviously very good. We should see a very nice attack stat from them, which will be obviously great. And remember, they're going to increase their defense as well. Because we got more than 20 key, we will have a chance of firing a follow-up super attack. 5.4 million, very solid. And we're going to get the follow-up super attack as well, but we also got the crit there. In terms of build, I think, yeah, as always with these kind of units, I think it's more than fine to go for a split on these guys. You can always, have equal crit to equal additional, but personally speaking, I think additional is still the best way to go. Getting attacks effective against all types is pretty solid. Getting 24 key is obviously still quite difficult, as we can see. Even with a key setup and decent orbs, they still got to 23 key only there. So it's not like they guarantee 24 key, but it's not as difficult as it sounds. And that's in their base form. The additionals will really help them stack. You can fire off 3 super attacks then, which is very good for stacking and raising your defense. And of course also basically as well, if you get attacks effective against all types, you're going to be hitting very hard with those 3 super attacks. And in the secondary form, you already have a medium crit chance with additional crit depending on rainbow orbs. It's just very good basically. We are going to transform them now, just so we can see what happens to their defense once you transform them. This is a very good linking partner for them, by the way. 5 links shared with them, which is great. And we're also going to get the buff from the Paikohan. Now just remember, we have 218,000 or so before transformation. We don't have Paikohan support activated as at this current point in time, which is why their defense doesn't seem to have shot up from last turn. That is just because we had Paikohan's support buff active at the same time. So watch the animation and we'll come back.
This is a power greater than that of a Super Saiyan God! I'm going to have fun destroying you!
Now we did lose a little bit of defense. This is because technically speaking the base form actually has higher attack and defense for the first 7 turns than if you were to transform them. Now obviously what you lose out when you transform them is the stacking capabilities, but however what you don't lose out on is of course all of the other benefits: the crit chance, the lower attack effective against all key, attack effective against all types key requirement, the additional super attacks, the massively raising attack and defense. We can see here over 6 million, This is a 55% unit. At this point in time, we have a pretty decent chance to crit as well, and we would have had attack effective against all types, and we would have followed up with a second super attack. So even though they only had around, with the support of Paikuhon, 250,000 defense, only in inverted commas, they would actually have been able to raise that well above the 300, even the 400k points. So very, very good in terms of their raw performance there at 55%. We're going to try them on one more team. Here we're kind of doing a Beyond Super Saiyan one. So the first one was a bit of a Movie Heroes mashup. Obviously we had the Paikuhan, we had the Movie Heroes Goku. Here we're going to be trying them out with some more left field options. We're able to run a couple interesting duo partners with them, which I think will be of interest for you. So in terms of the Power Beyond Super Saiyan kind of category, I think it's very, very important to take note that, you know, the category looks pretty solid. It's got Super Saiyan 2 units, Super Saiyan 4 units, Super Saiyan 3 units, Super Saiyan God units, and Super Saiyan Blue units. It doesn't appear to have UI Gokus or Ultra Instinct Gokus. Those don't seem to be on the list. It does include units like Rose, and it does include units like Broly as well, the legendary Broly. So it's very interesting that they don't include units like the Gokus. Obviously they consider that in a different kind of path, I guess. Here we've got the animation. I'm going to talk over this one because we have seen it already. But yeah, it does seem apparent that they are kind of choosing a different path for this category. Overall, I think it's a very strong category. It's basically an enhanced mastered evolution, which I think is a very, very good thing. In terms of the category itself, maybe in future this will have, for example, Ego Vegeta, Ultra Ego Vegeta. So that could be a very, very interesting addition here. It definitely feels to be following a more direct Saiyan path rather than the Ultra Instinct styled path that Goku is taking. So it could be an interesting addition. Overall, the category is very, very strong. We are going to be trying them out with a couple link partners here. One of the more interesting link partners, at least one for them, is the Super Saiyan God SS Kaioken Goku and Super Saiyan God Evolved Vegeta. Now, these guys are actually really, really, really solid, but they share 6 links with the God Goku and Vegeta. So now you think, wow, 6 links. Problem is they don't share prepared for battle at all, and they are also a key hungry unit, so they don't share absolutely any links whatsoever in terms of key. They do share everything else though, which is really good. It amounts to, in total, like I think it's 5, 10, 30, 40, 50, it's 65% attack at link level 1. So it's a very large amount of attack, obviously, that you could be getting for your God units. So it is enticing to run them together. I think it's an interesting concept, but I think in practice you would need to be very, very wary of how you apply your key spheres. So you need to be very selective of which ones you're going to apply to the God units, and you'd have to be very selective to which ones you're going to give to the physical Goku and Vegeta. They're not in any way bad at all, and they do rely on rainbow orbs, which is obviously counterintuitive. Well, not counterintuitive, it is pretty decent synergy alongside the God units in that respect, because they need type-based key orbs to function. So here we can see decent defense right off the bat. Again, 55% unit. We're going to get our super attack with these guys, the ultra super attack, very easily, and should leave enough orbs here for the Goku and Vegeta to also get their attack. So very, very lethal combination there from that perspective. Obviously, we're going to take a little super attack here. It's not going to do much damage because this is a Dokkan event. 150k defense, start of turn, very, very good. We haven't attacked yet or done anything. 5.8 million incredible stuff as well. So offensively, fantastic. Defensively, obviously on the first turn you have guard. Generally this gives you time to very easily get them to around the 200k mark with support, which is good. It's very, very good. They will stack relatively quickly as well. 55% unit at 200k after their first turn, with guard active in that turn, is nothing to scoff at. Obviously they have no damage reduction or anything in their base form, which is possibly their only oversight. But with the rate at which they attack, with the rate at which they fire super attacks and the rate at which they can essentially stack their defense, there's not too much of an issue for them to continue to build up that defense quite quickly. So for me, I think their kit's really, really well built from that kind of capability. Only real notable things, they don't have necessarily any healing, and I think them compared to Gogeta, obviously the big notable factor is that they have evasion, they do not have damage reduction. Now that's not a big issue for the majority of the game, 99% of the game, but certain stages and certain very hard stages will disable evasion. In most events they should be pretty stacked up by then to not really have it matter. But it is something that you do need to take note of, I do think, personally. As you can see, obviously, just looking at the key, like the key for the units, and just taking a look, obviously, at how the key plays out there, I can just show you the effects of Prepared for Battle. But as you can see, we hit the Ultra Super Attack pretty much every single time. Again, we're at 20 keys, so now we are guaranteed a second Super Attack should we need it, so it's all going very well. Attack stats are also very, very good alongside the Super Saiyan Blue Goku and Vegeta, and the Super Saiyan Blue Goku and Vegeta also haven't missed their super attack either, so it is a really solid combination from that perspective. Obviously the main thing with physical Super Saiyan Goku and Vegeta is that they essentially obviously build up over time as well, but they don't build up like anywhere near to what these guys do. Most of the time they are dependent on key spheres for their build up, their attack and defense build up, and obviously firing off super attacks. When they fire off multiple super attacks, they can do a lot of damage. For the most part, I think the guard units are very, very solid. I think they all do a very, very good job, and at 55% I think the Goku and Vegeta do an outstanding amount of damage. If you look at their attack stats, you look at that, you know, of those attacks, a couple of them will also attack effective against all types. They have the built-in crit chance per rainbow orb. They have the built-in crit from being a tech type unit. They have the guaranteed supers as well. Very, very high damage unit, and with a very good link set for that damage. They have a lot of attacking links, a lot of damaging links, so they are very, very good. We'll take a look now at their link set, but obviously we've kind of been through the unit. I think overall very impressive. If I had to rank them out of 100, I would give them 99.85 out of 100. The only thing realistically missing from this unit's kit in any way, shape or form is healing. And they'll heal plenty off of orbs, but they just don't have any designated healing. I think also their link set is incredibly attack orientated, and I think it actually would have benefited from a little bit of defense. Just a little bit of defense, and maybe a secondary key link would have really, really pushed these guys to another level. The secondary key link basically would have guaranteed you to get your 24 key in most situations, as you could have, you know, built around having 2 key links. Would have made them a little bit more versatile in link options, and a couple more defensive bonuses on their links would have really, really helped out. But honestly speaking, very small gripes. Like I said, out of 100, 99.85. These guys are absolute animals, and yeah, just really, really good. And there's tons of great linking partners for them. You look at units like this LRSS for Goku, who's due to get an EZA at some point. He's a fantastic linking partner for these guys. AGLR Gohan, the stacking Kamehameha one, he's a fantastic unit for these guys, and all of these guys fall under their 200% lead. So again, they're all going to be running under this 200% lead. They're going to be looking really, really, really good alongside them. As I mentioned before, you can go down the Warrior Gods path. You've got a couple of decent linking partners here. You've got the Tech Godku, great unit. You've got the Physical Blue Boys, great unit as well. Even Vegeta shares 4 links with Goku. So, with Goku and Vegeta. So, yeah, overall, you've got a lot of great options that you can utilize. Options that are getting their EZAs, options that currently are still very good, like the Physical Blue Boys. And it's suitable for content. You know, the Physical Blue Boys are a great unit that's awesome in SBR or ESBR, you know, stages where you need high volumes of quick damage. And pairing them up with these two makes them have great synergy and very great for the event. Maybe you need something a bit more specific, you go for the SSG Goku. Maybe you need something a bit more long-term or long-form combat, you go for the Gohan. There are so many versatile options that you can use to really, really pair up with these guys. So yeah, overall, I genuinely think that they are a fantastic unit, and I think that if you do have them, you are very, very lucky. Because I think they, with Gogeta, are currently the pinnacle of the game, and their animations are excellent. They are really, really stunning in a card art. Like when I look at their card art, they are just, it looks so good, so smooth, so just fantastic. So yeah, I'm really, really, really happy with how they've done these units, and obviously happy that they've come into the game. But yeah, that's pretty much going to be it from me, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you've used them. Let me know your thoughts, what team you're building them into. And yeah, leave a like if you enjoyed the video, or leave a comment and I'll try and get back to you. But thank you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. So until then, take care, stay safe, and well, yeah, as always, guys, and bye.